Yes, the scar on Wilkins' head was exactly what we thought it was. An electronic device has been embedded in his brain, as you can see in this picture.
That explains the change in behavior.
Yes.
But how was he able to conduct Kidman's stigma research? I mean, with that thing controlling his brain.
It's like being under hypnosis. He could be manipulated by the power of suggestion, but he still retained his intelligence.
So, is it possible to change him back to normal? And is an operation necessary?
His family would like us to try.
The authorities have also consented. They want to hear his testimony in his normal state.
I believe it's possible, if the device can be removed without damaging his brain. Dr. Vaughn, I'd like to hear your opinion.
I think we should give it a shot. For the professor's sake.
Then, we should start considering the obstacles we'll face while performing the surgery. Dr. Everett, I'll let you know the time and the place once we've given this more thought.
Yes, ma'am. There is one last question I'd like to raise, though. It may have occurred to you already, but I don't blame you for not mentioning it. Who was able to perform such a difficult operation?
We'll be performing brain surgery on you, Professor. I'd be lying if I said it was going to be easy, but it's necessary to return you to your normal self.
I don't think he can hear you, Dr. Vaughn.
I'm a doctor, and this is my patient. He deserves an explanation.
Is he even aware that his name is Wilkins? Maybe you should address him as director.
That would be defeating the purpose, Val. Professor, if you know the name of the surgeon who operated on you, can you please tell me? Otherwise, we'll have to make our diagnosis during the operation. Do you despise me, Professor? After all, if I hadn't discovered stigma, then none of this would have occurred, and you wouldn't be in this condition. If only I'd done things differently.
You are mistaken. Stigma was destined to be born from the very beginning. It matters not who was responsible for its discovery. We are blessed to have witnessed such a marvelous creation.
Professor?
Can you not imagine the possibilities of the next generation of stigma? It searches for a way to coexist within the human body, and I intend to grant its wish.
What are you saying?
This isn't the professor. It may be his body, but there's something else inside of him.
I'll explain the situation. This operation's objective is the removal of a number of plugs from an implant in the professor's brain. This complex device releases a weak electrical current that can modify a person's personality. The plugs transmit that current to a specific section of nerves in the brain.
I can't believe that Kidman and his group were capable of creating something like this.
Nor can I. This isn't a device that can be handled with the equipment we've seen in their possession. Needless to say, it would require advanced equipment as well as skill to implant something like this. Extracting the plugs will be a difficult task, but I've told Elena the operational procedure. This goes without saying, but working on the brain carries great risk. You must work with the utmost care to prevent minimal after effects to the professor's brain.
That's what I have in mind.
We must succeed with this operation. A device like that, it shouldn't exist.
Please prepare for the procedure.
We can't make any mistakes. Let's begin the operation.
Well, let's begin the operation. To begin with, we'll work on the actual implant itself. Before we can remove the plugs from the implant, we need to put the device into sleep mode. Use the forceps to pull out the 3 chips in the center. I'm told that doing this will cause part of its functions to be suspended, but please be careful not to touch the object. Please place it. The first, that's the second. The next chip, this is the last chip. Now, let's move on to extracting the plugs. The affected area is over here. These 5 plugs are supposedly sending special signals into the professor's brain. If we remove all 5 of them, the implant will stop having an effect on his personality.
What are these lights on the ends of the plugs?
It seems that they light up when they receive signals from the main system. Because of the modifications we made to the implant earlier, the transmission signal is cutting out. Please pull out each plug while its light is off. Be sure to pull it in the... It's out. Now, the first plug has been removed. Please move on to the second one. Pull it up. Please make sure to pull it out in the right direction. Don't touch the plug while it's lit up.
I'll take over from here.
chip, this is the last chip. The affected area is over. Please make sure it's out. The first plug has been removed. Please move on to the second one. Pull it out. Now place it. That's the third one. We've removed more than half of them. This is the last. Now put it in the...
Good, that's all the plugs.
We've disabled the personality disruptor. Finally, we need to turn the implant back on.
Can't we just leave it alone?
The device is in an unstable condition, and it's apparently dangerous to leave it as it is now.
Hey, what's with this?
All we have to do now is place the chips we removed back into the center. But
We have to put them in while avoiding those moving things?
yes, that will be the case.
Well, we're in no position to stop right now. Not yet.
Place that don't let go until you move it into... That's the first. Please be careful. That's 2 down. This is the last one.
There we go.
Great work. All steps of the operation have been completed.
I hope that this will return the professor to normal.
We'll just have to wait until he regains consciousness and see for ourselves.
Where am I?
He's awake.
Is he back to his usual self?
I see the operation was a success. I'm glad I didn't fall victim to my creation. To stigma.
Professor?
His memory has reverted back to when we operated on him at Concordia.
Marcus, I've decided to take your advice and stop researching stigma. I had a dream. Actually, it was more like a nightmare. So I'm terminating the project.
I think that's best.
You're not gonna tell him the truth, Marcus?
It's not for me to say. It's the director's decision.
Good. You're all still here.
You could have just paged us.
That's okay. I'm sure you're all tired from the surgery. I apologize for the short notice, but there will be another meeting tomorrow. We'll be discussing the international investigation of the Stigma Syndicate. Doctors from the other Caduceus branches will be present.
I'm concerned about the professor's condition, but I'll try to make time for it.
There's one other thing you should know, just so you aren't taken by surprise. One of the topics on tomorrow's agenda concerns Cynthia.
How so?
She's in Central Asia, Caucasus to be precise, and she appears to be there on behalf of the Syndicate.
What?
This group based in Caucasus calls itself Parnassus. The Syndicate was researching stigma under their supervision. Their leader is a man known as Master Vahushti, who, according to our records, has resided in the United States under the name Ray Korinsky.
Ray? You've got to be kidding!
You know him?
He and Cynthia were seeing each other.
This man, Vahushti, is quite famous in the world of medicine. After obtaining a medical license in North Carolina, he and a friend started a business venture, which quickly grew into a major manufacturer of precision instruments and implant devices. That company is Columba and Cornix, a subsidiary of the Humani Corporation.
So Professor Korinsky is Master Vahushti. He provided me with advice regarding Elena's transplant operation. That bastard.
Excuse me. My name is Hans Nilsson, and I'd like to make a statement on behalf of Humani. Neither our company nor Columba and Cornix has supported the Syndicate in any way. In fact, it's quite the contrary. We, too, have become victims of their scheme.
Please save the explanation for later. We need to evaluate our current situation. Now, we've learned that an individual named Cynthia Kazakov has ties to Vahushti.
She worked here at Caduceus for a while. She was directly involved with the stigma research.
And Mr. Marshall, according to a different report, Cynthia was a member of a secret research team for the U.S. Army and Humani. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what I've been informed.
How far has the military's research progressed?
I cannot make any comments on that, except I've been informed that no research was conducted exploring military uses of stigma.
Cynthia, how many people were you spying on?
She had the trust of Kidman, Caduceus, and the U.S. Army. We should assume that most, if not all, of the research data is now in Parnassus's hands, and I'm told that their level of activity has increased as of late. Dr. Stiles of Caduceus, Japan, who was dispatched to Caucasus, will now give us the detail. I'm sure you all know, but he's the doctor responsible for saving the world from guilt.
Hello everyone. I'd like to take a moment to update you on the current status of Caucasus. While I was there, I treated a number of patients who'd been infected with stigma. Similarly, the US branch has dealt with a variety of cases as indicated in their report. But the true problem is this organization called Parnassus, mentioned earlier. The local police are investigating the matter, with the assistance of the Russian army.
The United States will be providing support as well in order to crush Parnassus. We will be supplying both instruments and medicine, in addition to dispatching doctors from Caduceus.
I believe that's a very wise decision.
I've already volunteered you two. I hope you have no objections.
I'll go and put an end to this.
I'd like to know the truth. I was friends with Cynthia after all.
This is Angie Thompson. She assists me with my operations. She accompanied me to Caucasus and helped to analyze stigma at the scene.
The research data provided by everyone was quite useful, but the stigma are showing signs of change. Unfortunately, they're not evolving to our advantage.
Could you be more specific?
They're beginning to multiply without the existence of colurium, and if they're doing that, then they're becoming much more infectious.
So then, someone's still researching and refining them.
The nature of these infectious strains of stigma changes as it spreads from host to host. However, there's a limit to the number of times a strain can undergo this change. They're planning to utilize this unique characteristic to their advantage by spreading stigma over a limited period of time and then allowing the pathogen to die out naturally.
So they're trying to tame the devil, huh? What a dangerous plan.
Its completion is drawing near. We don't have much time to lose.
On orders from Caduceus, we'll be going to investigate where these weapons will be heading to. We'll leave Caucasus to you guys.
Director Quattro has more detailed research data. It should aid you in your investigation of Caucasus.
Thank you. That's very reassuring.
These missions will be dangerous, but I know we'll all see each other again.
There's so much I'd like to ask a master surgeon like yourself, but let's wait until this is all over.
Yeah, when that time comes, we'll talk about the future of medicine.
Dr. Vaughn, the police have stormed in.
All right, Elena, head to the back.
How can they use that old castle as their base? Have they no respect for history?
Nobody would ever guess that a terrible disease lurks inside.
I guess they were trying to impress their buyers. Well, if this really is their storehouse, then it should be filled with weapons. At any rate, storming this castle will be no easy task.
We have an emergency. The enemy's used a chemical weapon. A few officers have been hit.
Do we know what type of substance it is?
It appears to be a blister agent.
We need to treat them immediately. Elena, clean the patients and bring them into the operation tent.
Yes, Doctor.
They even had chemical weapons?
Doctor, we've received word that the analysis team is unable to determine what type of gas it is.
They don't know what it is? Is it some new kind of agent?
What should we do? We can't deal with an unknown chemical.
Wait. The patient's symptoms include those from existing poisonous gases. It's like the effects of multiple types of poisonous gases are appearing at once.
So it's a compound of known agents.
We do have antidotes for each of the different conditions. Let's treat each condition as it arises. That's all we can do for now.
But the antidotes are powerful medicines on their own. If we inject too much into the patient, it'll...
Let's use a sedative along with it. If we sedate the affected area first, we can minimize the amount of antidote we use.
but we won't be able to see where the affected areas are when they're sedated.
Then it's up to us to remember it.
Understood. I'll prep the antidotes. Please get ready, doctors.
This will be risky, but we don't have any other choice. Beginning the operation.
Doctor, the antidote kit is ready. I've also injected a coloring agent into the patient as well. The affected areas should now have visibly different colors. Inject the antidotes into the areas with the same colors. Well, please open them up. Memorize the color and locations of the inflammations. Once you have them memorized, inject the sedative. The colors will disappear after you inject it. The inflammation burst and became a wound. The inflammations have been sedated. Do you remember what the colors were? That doesn't seem to be the right antidote. The sedative is still in effect. The inflammation's gotten worse. I sent out a request for backup. They'll be here soon.
For
Doctor, I've all the effect injected. Well, once you have them memorized, inject the sedative. The colors will disappear after you inject it. The inflammations have been sedated. You will please continue using the antidotes on the inflammations with the same color as the medicine. The inflammations seem to have been reduced, but the numbers are still high.
That means that more of them will appear soon.
More inflammations are appearing! That doesn't seem to be the right antidote. Only the one with the same color will have an effect. The inflammation burst and became a wound.
Are there any signs of inflammation?
They're still high.
There are more inflammations.
Does it look like we'll see any more inflammations?
We can't let our guard down yet.
More.
Huh? That doesn't seem to be the right antidote. Should we try one of the others? The sedative is still in effect. All signs of inflammation have disappeared. I'm double checking just to be safe.
Okay, let's treat the remaining wounds for now.
Have disappeared. His numbers are back to normal.
Should be alright now. Let's start closing him up.
Please close him up.
Send the data from the operation to the analysis team.
Understood. I think they'll be able to create a specific antidote using this data.
I hope so. I never want to perform an operation like this again.
Dr. Blaylock! The police have located Cynthia.
So she is here. I don't know what happened to you, Cynthia, but there's no way I can forgive you for what you've done.
I don't hear that many gunshots anymore. The operation must be drawing to a close.
No new injuries have been reported either.
It looks to me like we have the upper hand.
Maybe so. But if we back them into a corner, who knows what they might do?
Cynthia.
Doctor, they've taken Cynthia into custody.
They have?
Where is she? I want to see her. I've been waiting to talk to you, Cynthia.
I never would have imagined that you were a spy. You were a big help to us at Caduceus, or so I thought.
Did you do it for Ray? Or was it your own decision?
You don't know anything about him, Val.
Apparently not. But I'm not interested in the aspirations of an arms dealer.
Calm down, Val. If you don't mind, Cynthia, will you tell us about him?
He was born and raised here, in this miserable land torn apart by civil war. He went to Russia and then to the United States in order to become a doctor. He realized his dream and started a medical company. But when he returned to his homeland to offer his assistance, he found only betrayal.
What happened?
The army tried to assassinate him while he was working at a refugee camp. He had devoted his life to saving the country, and that was how they repaid him. Goodwill was an unwanted guest.
Unfortunately, that's a reality for countries in turmoil.
He had always been an advocate of reconciliation, but from then on, his thoughts became more radical. There is a legend among these people. They believe that long ago, a great flood destroyed mankind, save one family that landed here. As a member of the chosen people, he's allowed his pride to corrupt him. The forces of destruction are still weak, he said, and he began to yearn for greater power, regardless of whether it was good or evil.
That's how he became involved with arms trade and stigma.
Yes, he sold his soul to the devil, and he received stigma from Professor Wilkins, with whom he was acquainted.
You worked so hard at Caduceus to save people's lives. Was that all a lie?
I honestly don't know, although I can say that I don't think the same as he does. For a time I believed that I could change him, but his madness only grew stronger. After I left Caduceus, I came here to try and dissuade him from his plan. But shortly after I arrived, he put a shackle around my heart.
What?
See the scar on my chest, Val? He implanted a pump unit designed to terminate my life. He has the ability to kill me by remote control whenever he wishes. And so, I am bound to this castle.
But that's not what it's meant for. It's to save people like myself. This is horrible.
If that's what's keeping you here, Cynthia, then let's remove it.
I doubt that's possible, Val.
We'll make it possible. But you have to trust us.
There's still hope. What do you say?
I'm sorry, Val. I'm sorry for everything. This is the implant he placed inside me. The image is a CAT scan that he took. And even further inside is the special chip he installed.
It's pretty deep inside. Removing it won't be easy. Won't he find out what we're up to during the operation from your vital signs? What if he activates the chip while we're operating?
That's not going to happen. He's at a college in Caucasus, in his own personal ark. He doesn't know anything about what's going on here.
Even though he left you here?
That's why he left me here. He has no interest in me anymore.
Cynthia, I'm going to save you. I swear it.
Thank you. You're the only one that never changes.
We must save Cynthia, no matter what. Let's begin the operation.
Well, let's all do our best. We'll be operating on her heart, so please be very careful while performing this procedure.
Where is the pump unit located?
It's in the atrium. Let's take a look inside.
Is this the same kind of implant I have? If that's true, then we can remove all the control chips to completely shut it off. First, let's burn the control. One of the control chips has stopped functioning. The chip has been cut off. That's the first one. Move on to the other control chips, and that's the second one. It's hemorrhaging. Treat it with the antibiotic gel. Thankfully, her heart didn't begin fibrillating. Another irregularity on the EKG. Please watch out, Doctor! We've avoided the danger of cardiac arrest, but we still have to be careful. The implant has been separated. This is the chip that's keeping her here. The chip is implanted directly into the heart. Dear God, we should carefully peel this off little by little instead of ripping it off all at once. First, we need to disable the chip. Use the laser on the chip to burn it. The chip has been disabled. This is similar to the control chips. Begin the removal process with a scalpel. What? This can't be. It's different than the control chips? The chip rebooted itself. We can't remove it like this. Disable it again. Next, another irregularity on the EKG. Please watch out, Doctor. Her heart is fibrillating. Stop the treatment for a moment. She's undergoing cardiac arrest. Massage the heart to resuscitate her. We have a pulse. The chip's been disabled. Now, make an incision over here. We can almost... The chip rebooted again. Keep using the laser on it. Another irregularity on the EKG. Please watch out, Doctor.
Not yet.
Let's detach it with the scalpel before it reboots.
Doctor, the next incision will allow us... The chip has been detached.
The extraction has been completed. That should do it.
Don't start celebrating yet. We're only halfway done.
We need to replace the pump implant that we removed earlier. I'll get the implant ready. Please keep an eye on the Another irregularity on the EKG. Please watch out, Doctor. Fibrillation has occurred. Please suspend the treatment. She's undergoing cardiac arrest. Massage the heart, quickly. We have a pulse. We can't relax until it's all over.
We need to put it back where it was before.
The pump has been placed inside the heart. Next, we'll attach the control... Another irregularity on the EKG. Please watch out, Doctor. The first control chip is in. Doctor, please be more careful. Another irregularity on the EKG. There are still wounds left. Let's treat all of it. The pump has begun functioning again.
All right, let's close the atrium.
Vitals are stable. Her heart is also remaining in stable condition.
It seems like she'll be all right. Well then, let's start closing her up.
Please close her up. Operation complete. The same tools, the same machine. It can be used for both good and evil. It all depends on the intent of the person who uses it. Great work, Doctor.
It's over, Cynthia. We did it.
I'm so glad we could save her.
You know, that's been our goal all along, to save people's lives and rid the world of illness.
You've already made up your mind, haven't you, Marcus?
Yeah, let's end this once and for all. It's time to confront this Master Vahushti. All right, here goes.
This is Vahushti's room?
It's It's very quiet.
Bahusti! Where are you?
Who disturbs the serenity of my laboratory? I see you're different from those ill-mannered police. You are welcome here then. But how did you learn of this place?
Do you remember me, Ray? It's me, Valerie Blaylock, Cynthia's friend. She's the one who told us where to find you. And yes, we removed your wicked device from her.
I see.